Hey, this is Jared with Carbon Digital. Today we're going to be doing a website review. And what that means is that we're doing a topological analysis, which just is basically we're going to pull up the website, look at it, and just kind of give some feedback. We're not going to be doing any type of audits or, no SEO or marketing audit type stuff. We're just looking and telling you what we see. So let's dive right in. Okay. So the name of this company is Stout Trout Tackle. So, this is a fishing website for trout fishing. Cool. I'm a huge fisherman. I go at least once a week. I love it. Um, Normally, I would say that modals, which is what this thing is, are a bad idea to do right out the gate. But I like that it's here because it shows that you guys have a purpose. The thing that I don't like about it is there's a link. You can see that the mouse hover changes to a pointer and it looks like there's a link here when in fact there's not. So I would get rid of that. But moving on. Okay. Um I'm not a huge fan of a contained website, which is what this is, where the content is contained to a specific width. But it's the same thing that Facebook does when you're on a computer, you're scrolling. It's the same thing there. I'm not a huge fan of those, but if it's necessary, then it kind of makes sense. So right off the gate, you have this text at the top, which is not. It doesn't actually link to anything, which it should. This should be, uh, your logo up here should be a link that goes back to your homepage, and it looks like it's a link and it's not. So I would fix that. Um, right out the gate, though, this is a very basic website, and you can tell. But I like that you have a header and you have some navigation items here. I'm not sold on that pink that's coming out of that logo, but I understand it because it's part of the colors that's in Trout. Um, really, I would probably start with a picture here and some text to really dive into, who you are and why you do this, and um, who you are, why you do this, what type of products you support, things like that. But at the same time, it's fairly prominently displayed your company name, Trout Tackle. So there really isn't a need for that, but I would probably still do it anyway. And the reason why is because I would guess that the conversion rates for this are fairly low. And adding more content that engages with people is going to help you actually increase the increase the probability of them actually buying a product. Because right here in your links, in your header, you don't have anything about your product, which means that this page, your home page, is where all the product is located. Your home page is not where all of your product should be. It should be on a separate page. And so the home page is where you really sell yourself, sell the story of you, why, why you do what you do, who you are, what it means, all of that stuff. That's what the home page is for. And you don't have that. And scrolling down, you really don't have that. So that kind of makes things interesting for people trying to buy because no one knows anything about you. Realistically, I see, 6 products here and nothing else. So that kind of leaves a concern like, why, if you only have 6 products and these are signature jigs, not even like anything extra. Um, I'm curious as to why it's structured like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up these other pages so I can look at them in a little bit. But yeah, I would definitely put a lot here to try to uh, bolster your story and who you are. And then this here throws things off quite significantly because I don't know exactly what a marabou jig is. I'm guessing that's what these are. Uh, I do saltwater land-based type stuff. So surf fishing, bank fishing on a river, pier fishing, throwing a spoon from the beach type stuff. So that's kind of where a lot of my fishing comes from. But I also have a background. I grew up doing freshwater. So not like river type, Alaskan freshwater, more just like ponds and lakes type stuff. But yeah, it really seems like your entire goal is to sell these 6 product and nothing else. Like it looks like you don't care about anything else except for selling these 6 product. And the reason it looks that way is because your website goes directly into buy a product. And that's not the approach that you want to take. You want to give them more that talks about who you are. So I would definitely consider restructuring this to include some additional details. I would really look at why you only have 6 product. Maybe there's more that you can do. Since there's a hook underneath here, under this skirt, maybe you could sell just hooks as well. So, it looks like these are jig heads. So yeah, jigs. So that means that this is going to be a sinker and then there's a hook underneath. So maybe you could sell some of those. Maybe talk about the product that you use. There's a guy that I know. He's also a veteran. He makes saltwater surf fishing rigs, and he lets you know what type of product he's using to build his rigs. For example, he's using like gamakatsu hooks, right? And so that is the type of stuff people are going to want to know. I personally, I'm a Mustad fan, but Gamakatsu is also a really good brand. So I would be curious to know what type of hooks, what type of jig hooks these are. And, do you operate in different sizes? Are these skirts removable? Which they probably aren't because they look like they're tied on. So I would have a lot of questions about these before I even consider purchasing them. But that's just some stuff to think about. Moving down, you have the customized marabou. I'm thinking that's pronounced marabou jigs. But also, again, it looks like it's a link and it's not. So you should fix that. Um, I like that you do custom orders. That's really cool. But I would actually put that up here in the header as a separate page. And the reason why I would put that on a separate page is because you want to actually show people what you've done that's custom, which I'm guessing that's what these 2 pictures are. But they're not connected sections. So it looks like they're 2 totally different, separated, disconnected sections. And so these questions here, right here, these questions should be part of your form because you want the ability to give people quotes rapidly. So you should ask them weights, hook size, paint colors, thread, flash, and marabou, right? You want to take all of this and turn them into drop downs if you can, especially for weight and hook size. Those should be drop downs because there should be limitations on what you can customize quickly as opposed to something else that might need a new, maybe it looks like these are probably molded at home, and that's great if they are. But let's say that they want a 1 ounce and you don't have a mold for a 1 ounce. So you need the option for an other so that they can provide information on what they want so that you can factor in like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to spend $100 on this mold just to be able to make these hooks. So having additional information here to quickly be able to quote an order and a quantity field, that's going to be very useful. I would also look at the potential for uploading images. If someone has a specific color pattern that they seen somewhere else. You know, there's a car that I saw. It's a Mustang, and it has a multicolor paint job or a wrap where it shows up in like 6 or 7 different colors. And so as you look further down the car, it kind of morphs as it goes along. So if that's the colors that I wanted, I just want to be able to take a picture and upload it. That way you can see what I'm looking for. And then you actually have something to reference as well whenever you're trying to figure out your colors and whatnot. So I think that would be really good for you. But I would definitely move all of this, and I'm guessing those are custom too, to a dedicated page that really promotes your abilities as a custom jig manufacturer. And then down here, that is a crap ton of white space. I would really shrink that down quite a bit, but also I would add some more links down here. Realistically, I mean, right off the gate, it says 2023, so you need to update this. But I would also add all rights reserved to this because that'll help recognize that it's your website. You know, everyone leave you alone. But then on top of that, you have an obligation to the public to provide policies. And those are going to be your privacy policy, your terms and conditions, if you choose to add your accessibility policy. But then because you're also a store and you're shipping product and you're taking payments, you want to make sure you also have the shipping policy, the return policy, right? Especially when you're looking at the difference between a custom product versus a stock product, right? Because those are going to have 2 different shipping policies, right? Because your custom products are probably going to have a shipping policy of no returns, right? And then your stock product might have a return policy that contains, you know, defects, so to speak, stuff like that. So you're going to want to make sure you factor those in and give people all the information that they need to make an appropriate decision. There's a book out there. It's called Don't Make Me Think. It's a marketing book about how to structure your marketing efforts. And the whole premise is you get one shot to look and know everything you need to know. And if you don't know, then they're not going to buy. If they have to look around for the information, or if they have to do a little digging, or they have to process the information, you know, a little longer to try to understand what's happening, they're not going to take any action. And that is counterintuitive to what you actually want. You want them to quickly take action. And so you have to structure this so that they understand right out the gate everything they need to know. So a little bit of work here, but all in all, it could be worse. So not too bad. Next page, we have pro staff. Okay. So to be honest, I don't know who any of these guys are. But I do like that you have their names and their pictures of their catch, which is really cool. But you also have that problem where text has a link. You know, it acts like it's a link and it's not. So I would look at fixing that for sure. And then this here, this looks like it's a link, but there's no link. But this actually is a link. So that's kind of weird. I'll open that up in a separate page. And then why do you have other people? Is this lady here part of that? I don't have no idea. But yeah, I would definitely look at expanding on this. With these people here, you can create a dedicated page that tells their story, which further helps promote, you know, what you guys are doing. So that would be useful. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. And that's super cool. Sweet. But yeah, there's a lot of opportunity to expand on this and really grow the content of the page. And hello. So your domain is screwed up somewhere. Yeah, the links on here are screwed up because now we're on a subdomain of Wix and not your website, not your domain. So I would definitely take a look at that and fix that. Next page. This is that pro catch link that I just clicked on. That's a pretty cool looking fish. So are those, and then nothing. Okay, so this page doesn't really seem to serve a purpose other than to show off a couple of catches. I'd really rethink that and probably add some additional content here. All right, this is your retailers. So I don't know what Mark, Fort, and Strike. It sounds like one location, but there's no link here. Okay, so here's what you do for this page. Take out this, put in company name, address, and either a picture of their storefront or their logo, and put that above company name and this, and move that down here. So then this text here can just be like, hey, just call it like our retailers. That should be sufficient enough for this. And then that'll give it a nice additional view for showing how many retailers you have. And then after that, I'd be looking to expand. Excuse me. I'd be looking to expand your retailer base for sure. Moving on, we have the about page. Okay. Now I know who this lady is and why her picture was on the other page. So it's cool that you have this here, but it doesn't serve the same purpose. It throws off kind of the website. Look at the section below and then look at the section above. This is full width and this is super contained. So I would just take the picture, move it off to one of the sides, and then take off this background color and take all of this text and move it to the side. Put this 2 columns side by side and expand on this, right? Because one paragraph doesn't seem to be enough. So you don't want to put everything in one paragraph here. You want to split it out. Try to hit 3 to 4 paragraphs as to all of this. Moving on, mission. So you're okay. The mission should be more than what you do with your profits. I would reword this and rephrase this. So maybe our mission is to support veterans in need through fishing, something like that, but kind of expand on it a bit. And then in that, at the end of that, you can say, we do this by donating 22% of our profits to Mission 22. And then this should be linked to their website, so you can connect yourselves to them as well. But yeah, you can really expand on this quite a bit. And really, I might even put that on the home page as well. That way it shows that you are a business with a purpose. And then that'll really work nicely because a lot of the outdoor community supports veterans. They're some of the most patriotic people in the country, and they're very supportive of veterans. So putting that on the homepage or a version of that prominently displayed somewhere in the first like 3 sections, I would say section probably 2 or 3, maybe 4. But prominently displaying that is really going to be nice, and it's going to help out. So I don't know who this guy was. Doing a quick review. Looks like, I'm guessing that's a Navy rank. The Navy is weird. That's right. I saw you. Yeah. The Navy uses their MOS as part of their rank. And so it's hard to understand what that means unless you actually know. They call it rates and ranks. everyone else just uses rank. So I don't actually know what BMSN means. It might be a good idea to actually spell that out somewhere in here. Hmm. But I'm guessing. Okay, so I'm guessing this guy, Mr. Shepard, was a friend of Mrs. Stout here. That's a friend or a distant relative or someone who had a grave impact on her life. I'm not really sure, but it's good to have this information here. A couple of things. The first is that I would expand this into multiple paragraphs. And then I'm guessing that this is him. So I would probably trickle in some of these images into this story and kind of expand it a little more. So this section would be mission, and then move this stuff down to this section, and then mix in imagery and text and kind of paint a full picture of who this guy was and why it's important to you to have this venture in his honor. But all in all, living for those who have impacted us is always a great thing. And, supporting veterans by donating your profits is always a good thing. So we just want to make sure that you appropriately tell that story so it has an impact on other people, hopefully to the same degree that he has had an impact on you. So that's a tough thing to try to navigate. So if you have any questions about that, just reach out to me offline and we can go over it. We might try to figure out how we can display this in a way that is befitting of his service and his dedication. That would also make you proud of how it's displayed and whatnot. So, and finally, okay. All right. So I think by now you know what I'm going to say. You need more content. Yep. And this 1/4 ounce doesn't tell anything. I would definitely add a much larger description here. Talk about the product. I noticed you don't have a blog. I would create a blog and actually talk about what a marabou jig is. Do a series of articles on it, and you can link. If you actually did a category and then like 12 articles. Excuse me. If you had a blog category and say like maybe 12 articles about this style of jig, then you could actually link that category into this into the product, and that would create a link for other people to learn more about that, and that'll be really nice and useful for people. But the fact that you also have additional sizes here, I would not do it like this. You can say that the item depicted is this size. Let's see if this changes. Nope. Yeah, since that doesn't change, you definitely want to reference item depicted as this size. It would also be a good idea to have a chart showing the difference in sizes based on the jig head weight. And then finally, this one here says ounces on it, and this one says ounces. So all of these say ounce. I would make sure that this is consistent across the board, just as a precautionary thing. But realistically, if you had any other pictures, that would be useful too, especially showing this when it's wet, showing the actual jig hook under it. Stuff like that would be really useful. So people can get a full picture of what's here, not just this, it looks kind of chaotic, to be honest, but that's kind of how they are. So you want to make sure that they understand what they're getting, and you do that by providing additional details and additional imagery. So that is pretty much it. Yep. Okay. Well, that's going to cover it for this review. It's always fun looking at things that I care about, you know, fishing websites, and then, veteran missions and stuff like that. So, definitely keep them coming for sure. But that's going to do it for this review. If anyone out there has any questions, concerns, comments, complaints, just send them over and we'll do what we can. Thanks, guys.